I'm Robin Crane, and this is the Growing Your Financial Business the Woman's Way podcast. Listen, I was a financial advisor for over a decade, and I got so sick of the old archaic strategies that your grandpa used to get clients. What the industry teaches today is still so outdated and just doesn't work anymore. So I had to find a better way for myself, and then I got obsessed with sharing these how-tos with other women like me. The stuff I teach doesn't require giving up your life, your sanity, or your family time. I want women like you to have it easier than I had it, so you can thrive in the industry. I've now helped thousands of women grow their financial businesses to multiple six figures, some even seven figures per year. So on this podcast, you're going to get an inside look at how they did it so you can do it too. Let's dive into the show.
Welcome, welcome. I have no introduction because I'm here with myself, recording a solo episode about the Revenue Accelerator System. So I wanted to go deep into some content that I think is really going to help you accelerate your revenue this year. And instead of bringing a guest on this time, I figured I would just give you some awesome stuff. So I have something called the Revenue Accelerator System. And as you can imagine, the whole point of that system is to accelerate your revenue. I know it sounds a little crazy, but this is what it does. And so I want to go through it with you. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, if you've seen some episodes on finding your ideal client, or maybe you've heard how I talk about sales in a different way that's really not salesy and not just about the fact finder, or if you've ever heard me talk about cloning your ideal client, then this might sound a little bit familiar. You might know a little bit about my philosophy. If you haven't heard me that much, or you haven't gone through the Revenue Accelerator System or any of my programs, hopefully this will really be somewhat mind-blowing, dare I say, to a point where the way that you look at your financial business starts to shift so that you can put your attention on the things that are working, but also start to intentionally work your business. So put attention on the things that are working, but also intentionally work your business. And what we're looking for here is for you to build your ideal business so you can have your ideal life, because, everyone is busting their butts, right? And I can imagine whether you just started, whether you've been in the industry for 3 to 5 years, or whether you've been in the industry 20, 30 years, the industry is changing all the time. I wouldn't say the marketing strategies are changing all the time, unfortunately, but the industry is changing. The environment for sure is definitely changing. As I'm recording this, and we're going to actually release this quickly. So as I'm recording this, three banks recently collapsed. Credit Suisse just got bought by UBS. So there's just some crazy stuff going on. And people are talking about a looming financial crisis. We were talking about, like financial turmoil, recession, all these words are going around. And if you're thinking that's not affecting you, I would say, question that, because it might be affecting your emotions, but more importantly, it's affecting the world and the people around you. And that could be existing clients, that could be prospects, that people are just a little bit frozen. And I don't want you to suffer because of it. I don't want your business to suffer because of it. And more importantly, I don't want the people who you can be helping to suffer because you don't have strategies that will actually attract people who need your help the most. Especially those high net worth clients, the one who have money, the ones who have money and are afraid of losing it. Oftentimes they're the ones that need the most help. And as financial professionals, you might be thinking, well, of course I want the highly qualified, high net worth clients, but it seems like they're set, or maybe you don't think that's true, but you all know whether they think they're set or whether they aren't set, whether they think they're set, but they're not, whether they think they're set and they think they're set and they are, or whether they just know they're not set. You being a part of their life, a part of their financial life and a part of their personal life, because it all comes together, is so needed and so important. And so what it comes down to is it's really not about your revenue at all. The Revenue Accelerator System, it's inherently going to accelerate your revenue because it's about you attracting the right people, using systems and strategies that you're aligned with, that are aligned with your values, that are in integrity with who you are and what you believe, and that still drive people to fast action so they can transform their lives. It's not just so you can make the money, because if it was all about growing your business, you probably wouldn't be in the business, because I know you really care about helping people and making a difference. And so this is really actually a win-win for everyone, because as you attract more of the right people into your business and into your life, they have the opportunity, not you, they have the opportunity to get transformational value from you because of what you do, because of your compassion, because you have so much empathy and care for them that you will transform their lives. So I want you to come into this with really that in mind, really thinking about your intention, because I know you got in the business to serve people, just like I got into my business to really serve people and take people to the next level and really allow them to get out of their own way so they can get what they want. Actually, before I jump into this, I'll just tell you, I have this little mantra that before every event, seminar, training that I do, I have to reach my arms up if you're not watching me on YouTube, but I actually, yell it oftentimes when I'm in the room, or sometimes and I start to whisper it and bring it in, but I'm like, please God, please work through me to provide as much value as humanly possible to get these women out of their own way so they can have everything they want. Please work through me, whatever it is, God, universe, whatever that thing is. And if you don't believe in God, don't let my beliefs, get in your way. I didn't always believe in God, but I feel like there's this higher power working through me to provide as much value as humanly possible to get these people out of their way. And I've been working with so many women, so it's usually women, so they can have everything they want. Now I'm doing keynotes, not just for women. So sometimes I say people, but it's like, I want to help you get out of your own way so you can have everything you want. And I believe that you're doing the same thing with others. They're just in their own way. It's our fear. It's the fight or flight. It's the response to money sometimes that's really scary. Even the protection of, I know what I'm doing. I'm all set. I got this covered type of thing, is that you helping them is the pathway, the gateway to them having everything they want. And to when you think about prospecting, you think about growing your business, you think about getting referrals, you think about maybe speaking engagements, even that you just remember and just bring it home. And it's reminding myself as well that whatever challenge you're going through, whatever concerns you have, or maybe you just being comfortable, that if you can focus on the people that you're going to help and do it in an intentional way that's going to serve them, and still get them to work with you, because that's where I think you can serve them at the highest level, then using the intentional strategies aligned with your values will allow both them to get better results and for you to make the money you want to make and have the lifestyle that you want to make and deserve. So you don't have to sacrifice your life or quality of life. You don't have to work harder. You don't have to work longer. You don't have to pound the pavement, dial for dollars. What you need is intention with this strategy. So with that big pre-frame, let me get into the strategy. And if you want to get this, it's just a quick little PDF just of the system. Just send an email to support@robincrane.com. You can just put Revenue Accelerator System and then just say, can I get that little download? If you're on YouTube, you can see it. I'll just share my screen just for a quick second. But if you are just listening, which most people are listening on podcasts, and you want to see it, just let us know and we'll give you the little, it's really just like a little visual PDF here. Okay, so if you're looking at my screen, it's the Revenue Accelerator System. There are 5 steps. So the first step is crystallize your make more money mindset. So crystallize your make more money mindset. So we have an event called Position Yourself for Profits. And oftentimes, we take the first day really focusing on the mindset. And some of it has to do with what I just said. I just spent, I don't know how many minutes, 7-8 minutes talking about you serving people and remembering that and being actually committed and feeling obligated to take your revenue to a higher level, because when you make more money, you help more people. And I have this in my book in the background. If you're not watching, you can visualize it. I have this banner that says make more money, help more people. That's my latest book, because I believe when you make more money, you do help more people. So that has a lot to do with the mindset. Like how are you showing up every day? And I actually have these money types. If you money type quiz, I think I actually do know it. It's robincrane.com/money type quiz. That should work. Again, send us a support message if it doesn't, and prepare to give that to you. But we actually look at these money types, which I actually came up with and wrote in my first book, Mind Over Money Management, where I should do another podcast on the money types. I will do that. I'm going to mark that down in my notes. Check. Okay. Now I will commit that to memory. So the money types, I have 5 money types, not going to go over them right now, but what it does, it really gets clear on, well, what are your beliefs and your behaviors that are resulting in your business or your life, right? So your beliefs and behaviors actually influence your results or your success. Okay. So understanding what you do believe and how you behave, how you show up, the action that you take actually determines the results that you get. And that might seem so obvious to some if you've done any personal growth, but I did this, my first Tony Robbins seminar. I was like blown away. I'm like, wait, I control my life. Are you kidding me? It took me some jumping up and down, sticking my finger up my nose to realize that like I actually control my own destiny. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just know we do some weird shit at Tony Robbins. But I finally believed like I actually had control over this. And I always thought that I didn't, like life was kind of happening to me. So that's the one component of mindset. Obviously it affects us every day. Some people say that it's 80% responsible for your results, 20% is strategy. So if we're not having an empowering mindset, then it's affecting your business. And I have been guilty of this. I go through my own wallowing and things aren't working and struggles and I'm having this challenge, and focus on that stuff. But at the end of the day, I really do believe in the law of attraction. And I'm aware at least that when I am acting in this way, that is affecting me and my business negatively. And that I've been recently, because I've been having some challenges myself, and I've been recently just making myself do the behavior or take the action of doing breath work or meditation every day, because I know that I'm in a little bit of a stress zone right now with what's going on with my business. A little is a little bit of an understatement, but for example, been having challenges with our Facebook ads, and we've been relying on our Facebook ads. So when they're not working, it really affects us and affects the people that we can help, right? So that gets stressful at times. And then I have to like sit back and be like, okay, let's look at what's amazing in my life and appreciate. Okay. All sorts of things, of course, we can do for mindset. But what I realize is that with the women in my coaching programs is that the other 4 steps, which I'm going to go over in a second, are the more strategic steps. But when we get on coaching calls and I'm working on identifying who your ideal client that you want to clone is, for example, which is the next step I'm going to go over in a second, I know that if you're not picking someone or you're getting stuck in this area, it's usually a mindset challenge. So I'm constantly working on your unconscious mind to help you get out of your own way so you can have everything you want, but under the umbrella of whatever that strategy is. So you still got to do the strategies, but know that you really want to get to keep working on who you are and who you become so that you can attract what you want. And if you don't believe me on that, I don't know, maybe listen to some law of attraction stuff, but that I really do think that your business can only grow as much as your personal development. So, okay, so let's go to number 2. You can keep that in mind. There's all sorts of things we can do mindset. I mean, there's entire personal growth, personal development industry over it. But let's go to number 2. All right. Number 2, this is more strategic, is clarify your market or your ideal clone. So again, if you haven't heard me talk about the cloning idea, here's the philosophy that if all you could do was get one client 10 times, like you had to get one client, who's that one person? But if you cloned them 10 times, you'd be able to meet or exceed your revenue goal. Who would that one person be? Now, we have something called the Tag Challenge, the Appointment Generator Challenge. I have some webinars. I think there's a webinar on my website. You can check it out. Go to robincrane.com. And I talk about the different levels because there's different levels of who you can clone. It's either in your book of business, it's someone you know that you want to clone, or it's in what I call the World Wide Web, which is basically I want it to be online so that you can have some digital marketing strategies, not typical in the industry, but super effective. And so in the Tag Challenge, the Appointment Generator Challenge, we actually go through an entire system of how to get 5 quality appointments in 5 days. And it all starts with who is that person that you want to clone? Because if you get that wrong, you're now putting all this effort and attention and effort into attracting somebody, anybody, or everybody. And then that's where you don't have any time left and you don't make the money that you want because you're not intentional about who you want to attract. So I cannot emphasize this enough. This idea of cloning your ideal client. Niching is scary and it feels like you're going to pigeonhole yourself and you have to like redo your entire website. Yeah, ultimately, when you start working with the right person, you're going to know exactly what their challenges are, exactly what they want. And even within the temperature of the day and temperature of the year. So it's really helpful, especially if you're doing social media, which you may or may not do, but to really understand this person, what makes them tick, what freaks them out, what's freaking them out right now, so that you can talk to that person and really provide transformational value. which brings us to number 3. Okay. How you talk to this person. So number 3, I'm back to share those of you watching. Number 3 is craft compelling messaging. Okay. I often say this, that the financial industry doesn't know what messaging means. It's like an unfamiliar term in the financial industry, because very rarely am I hearing any financial companies or insurance companies telling you, work on your messaging. It's all about your messaging. Well, the reason that you're not getting ideal quality prospects is because of your messaging. I just don't hear that in the industry. However, in the digital marketing world where people are getting clients online, that's ubiquitous. I know that big word. It's everywhere. Okay. It's like everything is about messaging. The reason they're not taking the action is because of messaging. And here's why. Because I usually teach this as like an infinity sign, I call it the crazy 8. And I want you to imagine on top that you think about the beliefs. Okay. So beliefs influence behaviors, which just kind of goes around in this little infinity sign. Beliefs influence behaviors, and behaviors influence results, and results again influence beliefs. So what happens is it's this perpetual thing that's happening here. And just to give you an example, I always use this example because when I was first a financial advisor, I just hated sales. I just didn't feel like I was a salesperson. I didn't want to be a salesperson. I didn't like the idea of selling. And so those were my beliefs. And so when you think of it this way, you say, well, how are your beliefs affecting your behaviors? Well, if I believe I'm not good at sales, I'm probably not picking up the phone as much, or maybe I'm picking up the phone and I'm messing up the script, or maybe I'm not saying the right thing, or maybe I'm not making as many offers. Maybe I'm not actually, saying, hey, here's the next step, but I'm doing 3 or 4 or 5 meetings before I try to close them because God forbid I don't want to be salesy, right? So this goes back to the mindset piece, step number 1, but here's how it comes in with messaging. The only things, if you believe me, okay, that beliefs influence behaviors, behaviors influence results. And then if the result is, let's say I don't believe I'm good at sales or hate sales, is that I'm not making enough sales and now I'm broke, or I'm not making as much as I want to, well, then that's going to perpetuate itself. And now my belief is, wow, I'm really bad at business, or maybe I have to go get a job, or how am I going to do this thing anyway, right? And so it's this perpetual thing, okay? So we can tell how that will, the beliefs will affect the behaviors and the results. Obviously, that's a mindset challenge. But then the question you should be asking is, if you want to attract quality prospects, those high net worth or whatever you consider quality prospects, then how do you drive beliefs? Because if those beliefs are going to drive the behavior, and the behavior that you want is that they meet with you, they work with you, or they talk to you, they meet with you, they work with you, all of those things, they respond, let's say on LinkedIn, they message you, whatever it is, that is a behavior we want to instill in them. Well, how do we get them to take that action, to have that behavior? Has to do with their beliefs. Why would they believe that it's worth their time to talk to you? Why would they believe that they should work with you? Why would they believe that you're credible? Why would they believe X, Y, Z, all these things? Messaging. Okay. If you go out there on the World Wide Web and post something on LinkedIn and say, I hate working with blank and insert any minority, that messaging is probably, you're going to get a lot of negative results from that, right? So you don't ever want to have this type of messaging, of course. That's a horrible example. I'm just saying, that's how important it is that whatever your messaging is. Now, that's a very extreme example, but if you go out there and you start talking about how you tell a story about how you worked with this woman who, she was a yoga instructor and she was struggling to pay her bills. Well, now you're telling the market that that's who you work with, people who are struggling to pay their bills. Of course, nothing wrong with yoga instructors. I'm just using it as an example. I got to be careful with everything I say, right? But you want to be very careful in your messaging. And so sometimes in my programs, what we do is we will tell a story, and then the other person will write down the beliefs that they had from that story, because a story is just a form of messaging. A post is a form of messaging. An email is a form of messaging. A sales process is a form of messaging. The way you dress is a form of messaging. I'm here. I just took a shower. Those of you just listening, I have wet hair. And I realize, I'm taking that risk that someone's not going to like the fact that I didn't doll myself up and, do the whole, blow drying thing. And I just put on a little bit of makeup, I put on some clothes, and like, I'm just going for it. Because right now, like, what's most important to me is I get the message out, and someone might, the message received could be, wow, Robin cares so much that she's doing an extra podcast episode, getting it out in a couple of days because she thinks it's needed right now. Or the message could be received as, wow, she doesn't take care of herself. She doesn't even look like she brushed her hair. Okay. So you get to decide how you're going to show up in your brand. But that message, those messages, whether it's physical, visual, whether it's auditory, whether it's seen, heard, or felt, has everything to do with your messaging, which is going to influence the belief, and that belief is going to determine or influence the behavior, which is the action, whether they meet with you for an appointment or don't, whether they refer you or don't, whether they sign the paperwork or they don't. All of those things, which determines the result. Whew, that was a lot, but hopefully you got it. At least enough to know messaging really matters, because that's step number 3 is craft compelling messaging. Okay, let's get back to it. Sorry. Number 4 here is commit to money-making activities. Okay, commit to money-making activities. So why do I call them money-making activities as opposed to marketing? Because the way you're taught, typically in the industry, is to do a lot of marketing activities. Often they're called prospecting, and you're going to do a lot of stuff. It used to be, make your list of 100. Now, what I hear is make your list of 200. They've really changed things in the last 20 years. Now it's about making your list of 200. Talk to friends and family. Ask for referrals. What marketing activities are you doing? Maybe it's posting on social media. Maybe it's, buying leads. Maybe it's actually doing seminars and having them fill the room for you. Typically, the advisors have others. They pay for butts and seats, basically. So that's your marketing. But the reason I call it money-making activities is because so often I find that, that many of you are doing marketing activities, but you're not necessarily tracking to see which marketing activities are getting you the financial result. And so we don't know if they're money-making activities or not. And this happens all the time where, I have someone posting on social media or something. And I remember this one woman, I said, well, how much time are you spending doing that? She's like, oh, not that much time. I said, how much? And she said, like 4 hours a week, like not even an hour today. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like I have a book called 1 hour a day to 6 figures. Like an hour a day is huge. And I said, well, are you getting the result? And she's like, well, I'm getting clients, but they're not quality. And it turns out she was only making like hundreds of dollars from these clients, and she's spending 4 hours a week on that. Okay. And I'm not saying this to be mean or, to give her crap about it. I'm saying it because like your time is so valuable that if you're intentional with the money-making activities, and we can backtrack to see which money-making activities got you the best clients, then we can optimize it. We can not just do more of it, but we can do more of it in a better way where we layer on top the messaging, knowing who we want to attract and being specific to talk to that person with the right mindset. See how we're bringing this all together? And then it will work so much more effectively. Okay. I actually have the 7-step marketing plan. You can get this at femalefinancialadvisors.com/marketing-plan. And you can grab that. It actually has a little download and a video. Definitely watch the video that goes with it because I'll walk you through it. But the purpose of the 7-step marketing plan is actually to go through these 7 steps to see what is working and what is not working so that you know what to optimize and how to optimize it. And then if you layer in this or, overlay this revenue accelerator system, the right mindset, having the ideal person you want to clone. So the clone, marketing to that one person. The messaging, crafting the right messaging, that's number 3. And then money-making activities, now we're on number 4. And then go number 5. And number 5, here, I'm going back to my screen for those of you watching, is capture ideal clients and monetize. Capture ideal clients and monetize. So that's the sales part. Okay. And a lot of women I talk to don't want to be salesy, don't want to even do sales. They claim to be, I'm not good at sales, which I know, I understand because I was this exact same. I was not good at sales. I did not like sales. I hated sales, like I mentioned, right? But the capturing part, if you do everything right, you have the right mindset, you have the right person to clone, you have the right messaging, you're doing the right money-making activities, and then you cannot close the deal. You don't make the money. Your revenue will not accelerate, right? Now, a lot of the women that come to me who are doing pretty well, they get referrals, they close them, right? They're like, oh yeah, I closed like 80% of my referrals. I'm really good at sales. Okay. Except for the fact that you're not great at attracting new cold blood. If you're that good at sales, you'd probably be able to get some free leads. So there's a litmus test for you. But it's not to beat yourself up. It's just to understand like, wow, there's some gaps here. Like if I really want to increase my revenue, if I really want to make a bigger impact, if I really want to help more people, in a transformational way, then you got to be intentional with all these things. And the capturing part, ideal client capture, is so important because those people, that's where the magic happens. Those people need your help. And it's no big deal to me if you lose a sale. I mean, I'm not saying that to be mean, but it's like, if you're working with me, I want you to close sales because I want it to be an easy ROI, to get your money back working with me. And that's so important to me. That's why I love that I can help you double, triple, quadruple your revenue. And I say that, and I've done it many times with probably hundreds, if not thousands of women. So I know I can help you. But what's more important to me is that you're helping others, because it's the ripple effect. It's like, if I can help 1,000 women, let's just say it's 100. Let's say I've only helped 100 women do that. So if I can only help 100 women, like I haven't helped millions of people, except that I have, because those 100, there's all the compounding, there's ripple effect. Those 100 women have helped so many of their clients. Those clients, we're talking about shifting the shifting this generationally, where we're helping our kids, your kids, their kids, and helping and just expanding through families and expanding through networks and expanding through communities, right? And I know we can do so much more together as we go deeper and deeper. So obviously, we need to actually convert the clients. Sorry about this horrible cough. Excuse me. That can't be fun listening to. But you hear my heart, okay? I want you to have the success. I want you to be able to increase your revenue. I want you to be able to make a bigger impact. And what I'm telling you is that in order to do that, you need to be super intentional with all of these things, those 5 steps. Once you get beyond that and you're doing that, of course, there are other steps with operations and be able to systematize things. But when it comes down to it, so many people are working on their operations and systematizing things and onboarding and all this stuff when they haven't even really cracked the code on how to predictably and reliably be able to attract quality prospects. And as I like to say in my keynote, and clone them like magic. So it's not just about doing it once, it's doing it again and again. And if you can do this, then if you want to grow your business in a way where you start to duplicate or clone yourself, you have systems to be able to teach the people that you bring on to do that as well, to do this with your team and do this at a much higher scale. And then your business becomes scalable. It's not just growing because you have recurring revenue, but it's those years where maybe the market's going down. And this might be one of them. With all the stuff going on with banks and all the stuff going on with the markets, it's crazy. Like there's no certainty right now. And if the market tanks another 20% after last year's, pullback, then, you're, as we would say very nicely, you're in deep doo-doo, right? So it's like, if you want to just maintain, I can't tell you how many people come to me and say, well, I'm doing well, but, because of death, like I've lost clients due to death, and so my book keeps going down, right? And it's not just death. If you have clients, I don't need to tell you this, but if you have clients and they're retiring and they're pulling money out, and some of your clients are dying and they're not keeping it within their family, like keeping you within their family, you're going in the wrong direction, right? So you need to continue to innovate. You need to continue to get those new clients. And again, I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm just trying to inspire you and excite you that there is a system to do that. And sometimes it's replacing it. But my hope is that it's not just replacing the revenue that's lost. My hope is that you have predictable and reliable systems that continue to help you grow intentionally so that you can continue to make a bigger difference and help more people. So that was a lot of content. I usually tell a lot more stories, but I wanted to give it to you straight. So you have a whole system. Again, if you want to get this and you want to be able to download it, put it on your wall, it's just a 1-pager that has the Revenue Accelerator System. And you can just send a support message, support@robincrane.com, and just ask for that Revenue Accelerator System download. I gave you lots of other stuff here. And if check out our website, what's going on. I mean, we sometimes are doing the tag challenge. At the time of this recording, we're doing it next week. And so if you don't know about the appointment generator challenge, if you're on this right away as this comes out, you can maybe join us in the challenge coming up very, very soon. It's going to be excuse me, very, very exclusive and small this time around. And if you missed it this time, no worries. Like, let us know. Just be in contact with us or my team. And so we can help you in any way that we can. You can always visit my website, robincrane.com, get some goodies there and grab a call so you can, we can customize and help you grow your business. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on Growing Your Financial Business the Woman's Way. Bye.